What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to DLF. Today we are talking start or sit at the wide receiver position for week 7. Now, before we get into it, if you guys like what we're doing, you like these videos, you like anything Addison puts out or the rest of the DLF team, subscribe to the channel. You get a ton of free content, live streams, mock drafts when we get to the off season, a whole bunch of stuff. Questions, comments, also drop that stuff down below. We'll get back to you guys, obviously, as fast as we possibly can. All right, let's get into it. First on the list, we are talking Jakobi Meyers. Last week was a bit of a letdown, admittedly, right? Coming off of a huge game, week 2 of Bailey Zappi, the new Tom Brady, and as Bill Belichick is probably going to say here, it just didn't work, right? Meyers' target share was lower than anticipated. He didn't put up the production. Even though Bailey Zappi threw for 300 yards, right? He passed 35 times. The opportunity was there. The offense looked good, right? Ramondre Stevenson scores 2 touchdowns. Things went as they should for the Patriots. It just didn't fall to Jakobi Meyers. That's not going to take me off of him. He is still going to be a wide receiver 2 this week. He is still a borderline, if not inside of the top 20 at wide receiver this week against the Chicago Bears. Now, when you're looking at the matchup, right, the Bears look like a tough matchup on paper. I'm telling you, as a Bears fan, that's not true. It's really not. Teams just haven't had to pass because they're winning. They're winning games against us, and they're able to run the ball down your throat. That's the truth, right? Ramondre Stevenson is set up for a great game. I'm still going to go to Jakobi Meyers because he is the wide receiver 1 in this offense, right? He is the de facto wide receiver 1 right now. Jakobi Meyers, roll him out there with confidence. He is going to bounce back on Monday night against the Bears this week. Moving on to our next wide receiver here, we have Romeo Doubs of the Green Bay Packers. I'm going back to Romeo Doubs as a borderline wide receiver 2 against the Washington Commanders. It's a top 6 matchup. There's no way around that. It is a great matchup. The Commanders have been getting beat by wide receivers all year long. Allen Lazard, Romeo Doubs, both top 24 guys, if we're being honest. But I really like Romeo Doubs again, and I feel like you have to speak on him because he's the one people are getting antsy with, right? He hasn't put up in the last 2 weeks. He has basically dropped week after week since his big 20-point game a couple weeks back. I'm not concerned because if you look at the target share over those weeks, you're looking at 22%, 22%, 12%, and then back to 21.9, so call it a 22% again. He has seen 8 targets, 5, and 9. The volume is there. And if this is any other season, right, and this is a weird season, but if it's any other year, you say you're going to get 8 to 9 targets from Aaron Rodgers every single week. You're going to be either have the lead or, a share of the lead in targets most weeks, and you're not going to play that player. That sounds insane. Like, that logic just doesn't track. So I'm not going to follow it. I'm going to say volume is coming his way. It's been consistent volume, and he's playing with a Hall of Fame quarterback in Aaron Rodgers. So I'm going back to Romeo Doubs, especially against the Washington Commanders. On the flip side of this matchup, we have Terry McLaurin, we have Curtis Samuel. To me, they're borderline top 30 guys. Carson Wentz is not going to play, right? It is going to be Taylor Heineke, and we know what this ride looks like. You know what I mean? Like, it's not fun. It's sporadic. It could be good. Could be terrible. It's never mediocre. That is the Taylor Heineke experience. So basically, what do you do with Terry McLaurin, right? He probably sees a lot of Jair Alexander, and the Packers are already a bottom 7 matchup for wide receivers on the season. And Terry McLaurin just hasn't been great, right? Now, if you look back at last year, he had plenty of great games with Taylor Heineke. He also had a ton of duds. Like, there were plenty of bust games. And again, the matchup is the big piece here. Jair Alexander is one of the, if not the best corner in the NFL. And I don't have a ton of faith in Terry McLaurin and Taylor Heineke finding success there. I think they go elsewhere. I think it maybe lands with Curtis Samuel or, right, Antonio Gibson out wide or J.D. McKissick. A lot of other ways they can get players involved in the pass game and have it not be Terry McLaurin and not have to challenge Jair Alexander a ton. So I am avoiding Terry McLaurin if I can, right? He's a top 30 guy. That's a flex in most leagues. Ideally, you have better options to play. But if not, Terry McLaurin, top 30 this week. And our last wide receiver here. This one hurts. It is DJ Moore. If you followed me before the season, I was an idiot. I believe Baker Mayfield was gonna fix DJ Moore, right? That was the thought. That was clearly not the case. And to make things worse, Baker Mayfield got hurt, and now we have PJ Walker, the same PJ Walker who just turned in 7 targets for 3 receptions and 7 yards to DJ Moore. Basically a non-existent game in terms of air yards. He probably had one of the lowest in NFL history for an actual starting quarterback. It's just, the situation could not be worse for DJ Moore. It could not be worse. This is absolute worst case scenario, right? I get Robbie Anderson's gone, and they may force the ball to DJ Moore. And it could work out. I don't want to make that bet. We have yet to see a good game, a truly good game from DJ Moore. I don't anticipate it coming against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with Ben McAdoo calling an offense and PJ Walker under center. That sounds horrible. So if you have DJ Moore, just don't play him. Like, I think just based on talent, he's probably a top 40 wide receiver because volume could save him a little bit. And like that's your pull the ripcord, that's your parachute. But I mean, don't play DJ Moore. It could happen, but I'm not making the bet. I want to go literally anywhere else than DJ Moore this week. All right, guys, that is all we have. We ended on a real low note there, but if you like what we're doing, right, subscribe to the channel. Questions, comments, drop them down below. This is my last video for the next week. I am out on vacation, so hopefully, Addison and the guys get you prepped next week. They get you prepared. If not, the hell, Addison. All right, guys, as always, we will catch you next time.